Alright, so Black-Green Rock. People often ask, what's the fair deck you would play if you were forced to play a fair deck? This is definitely my fair deck of choice in Modern. I would like to be on the record stating that I think you should play unfair in Modern, but I think this deck has a lot of good tools. It plays all the obnoxious 1-mana discard spells that you want to play in Modern. It's got Tarmogoyf and Tireless Tracker. The biggest difference between this and like something like Death Shadow is you don't have to balance your health total in a deck like this, which gives you a little bit better burn matchup. It's always funny whenever I do something like this. People are like, oh man, I didn't think you were actually going to do it. Y'all should stop watching Twitch streamers who lie to you. Don't encourage people who lie. I make a promise, I keep it, chat. Promise is made, promise is kept, unlike people in office. Yes, your democracy means things here. This hand could very easily just die to some things in Modern, but I have lands and spells, so I think I keep it. Like, Ooze into Liliana will be really good if they're playing something like Spirits. My opponent's mulligan to 3, which either means they're playing Tron, Bogles, or are incredibly unlucky. Smells like Bogles. This is the wrong Liliana if they're playing Bogles. What's going on, Full Metal? I'm always up this early. I did sign on a little bit early because I want to get to Standard ASAP. That's rude, the Burn Pit. Ninja's actually the same age I am, I believe. Thanks. Oh, could a mod fix that? That should have been a timeout. Yeah, the blue-red giant deck's great. I thought he's like 27 or 28. Look at that. They are, in fact, playing Bogles. They're low enough on mana and other things that we could maybe win this game still. What's going on, Zesty? Thanks for the 11 months. Welcome back. I appreciate it. What's going on, Project Swamp? Thanks for shipping your Twitch Prime this way again. I appreciate it. Thanks for the Bezo bucks. Watch us just like get dumpstered by Bogles after they mold the 4. No attack. Why wouldn't you attack? I guess not attacking means I can't attack with the Scavenging Ooze. Alright. What do you got? What you got? I would love to take your Spirit Mantle. Maybe I'm supposed to take Ethereal Armor, actually. Both of them make their creature kind of unblockable, which is annoying. I was just about to turn around and ask, does your mother know you're down here? I'm glad I didn't.
Chat wanted to say hi to me.
I should have attacked with this, probably. Chat, yeah, this was a free 4-pointer that I missed. I'm gonna blame my wife walking through the door.
What's chat think about your hair?
They didn't believe that I would come through on my promises. They thought I was Donald Trump.
They don't know you very well. You are a man of your word.
The beard does make it next level. You're not wrong. Lido, thanks for the 26 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I think I just keep making clues and making the Tireless Tracker bigger here. Yeah, I definitely. If I had hit them for 4 last turn, I would certainly be in a better spot. Because then they'd be dead on board right now. I guess I could have attacked this. I think I want to leave this to chump block this turn. So unless they draw Rancor, I want to have a blocker. Or not. So I'm going to play this Field of Ruin, and then I can activate Field of Ruin and then still have 4 mana left over to crack 2 clues, so they can't eat this inside of combat. Enjoy Trash Modern unsubscribing. Well, now that can be a permanent ban. I timed you out for being obnoxious earlier, and then yeah, now just get out of here. It's so wild. Yeah, that's the other thing too. When people say they're unsubscribing and they're not subscribed, 1, I don't really care. 2, if you don't harsh someone else's fun, right? Like there's no reason to like make other people like different things than you. So like don't come into my house and then complain about what we're doing. Just go somewhere else. Yeah, correct. They weren't even sub. 9 times out of 10 when they say they're unsubscribing, they mean that they clicked subscribe on the YouTube channel, which just means they're following and they don't actually help support my content. So they can bugger off. Don't yuck my yum. That's what I was looking for, Marty. That's the elegant way to say it. All right. Languish in, Duress in, Abrupt Decay in, Collective Brutality out, Liliana the Last Hope out, Scavenging Ooze out. We leave the Fatal Pushes in because it's pretty important that we be able to kill Core Spirit Dancer. I think we're going to go ahead and submit like this. Seems fine. Not having 4 Liliana the Veils hurts here a little bit, but the fact that we have a bunch of Assassin's Trophies helps as well. Previously, the Bogles deck had 4 copies of Leyline of Sanctity, and we didn't have a lot of efficient ways to get rid of that card. But now that we have Assassin's Trophy, we have ways to take that off the table, which makes our Lilianas a little bit better. Drawing, so like, while I was happy to leave a couple copies of Fatal Push in my deck because, like, you do need to kill Spirit Dancers, like, drawing 3 here obviously feels bad, but, like, keeping a hand with Liliana the Veil and lands that can cast her in this matchup is, like, more than reasonable. Perfect. What's the base of this deck? This deck is a fair interactive mid-range deck. Thoughts on no Bob? I prefer to have a better burn matchup, and you don't have a good burn matchup and a good aggro matchup without Dark Confidant. Yeah, subscribing is either you have Amazon Prime and then you get a free sub every month, or it's at least $5 a month, correct? So this fetch land here, for people that haven't played against Bogles before, Bogles plays a copy of the card Dryad Arbor, which means that if they leave this fetch land uncracked, I actually can't Liliana Edict their thing next turn. So now I'm going to go ahead and put this Overgrown Tomb into play tap since I have this extra Fatal Push in my hand. So that way, next turn, I can play a Swamp, play Liliana, Edict them, they fetch a Dryad Arbor. In response to my Edict, I Fatal Push their Dryad Arbor. And it doesn't really matter that we're drawing lands. We're winning this game at the moment. I'm not going to play around double Dryad Arbor here. That's pretty unlikely. If they have double Dryad Arbor, we might lose this game. But I don't think I'm supposed to wait here again. Usually it's just 1 Arbor in their deck. If they have a second, I'm going to need to rip a thing. They do not, and they conceded. Liliana is good. And, like, that game was a good example of, like, percentage points that you gain by being familiar with matchups and cards that decks are likely to play, right? Like, in that game, if I just jam Liliana on 3 and Edict them, we're very likely to lose, right? Because they're just going to, like, sack the Dryad Arbor, and then they'll still have a Bogle in play. They'll kill Liliana and then kill us. But by being aware of the fact that fetching for Dryad Arbor was something that they could do, we were able to maneuver around that and actually end up winning the game. Yeah, the natural color of my beard is different than the natural color of my hair. So when they bleached it, it came out slightly different. So they recommended using a different color pink on the beard. It's closer to a purple. I think it looks good, blending one into the other. Thanks, Sandman. Sing Basket Case. I almost certainly know the words to that song. What is that? How does that go though? What's the tune? I can't start offhand. This seems reasonable. Not amazing, but fine. Yeah, I need to take a good headshot and turn it into an emote. Do you have the time to listen to me whine about nothing and everything I want? I am one of those melodramatic fools, neurotic to the bone, no doubt about it. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Thanks, Lido. This seems earlier for me to stream. I'm actually only on a half hour early for reference. Normally I start 8 a.m. during the week. All right, so we really want to hit an untapped land next turn, so that way we can Maelstrom Pulse both of these Lords of Atlantis. If I am gambling a little bit here. If we don't hit the untapped land and they play the other Lord of Atlantis out here, we might just die. But hopefully they're going to sit here and hold up cancel. All right, really want to hit an untapped land here. Yikes. Think I'm cracking up. Wow. All right. Oh wait, they don't have a wizard at the moment, right? All right. Well, who's got 2 thumbs and is about to lose to a spell pierce? This guy right here. Hey, Rabner, thanks for the 21 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I did also learn yesterday that getting your hair colored takes way longer than I thought it did. I'm going to lead on this. They can Wizards Retort this, but then they're not Wizards Retorting my Tarmogoyf. I'm like, if I lead on Tarmogoyf, the Tireless Tracker then doesn't get clues, so I think it's right to lead on the tracker here. Hey, Yildred, thank you for the 3-month resub there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, Christy doesn't really care. She just cashes the checks. They have Deprive and Wizard's Retort? Wild. Alright, well, I mean, if they don't have another counterspell here, this Liliana is likely to dumpster them. Especially on the back of the Scavenging Ooze, like, gaining a bunch of life now. Like, this game's gonna get out of range very quickly for my opponent. I think I hold on to the... Do I... How many creatures are in graveyards? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures in graveyards. Yeah, I'm gonna hold on to the land for now. How long did it take? I was there for probably close to 4 hours. Although I did go to a... The only place I could find that was willing to do my beard was a beauty school. A lot of normal salons don't want to do that. Wow, they have Harbinger here. That's a pretty brutal last card for them to have. I guess I should have attacked before I used the Scavenging Ooze. Alright, that definitely puts me in a position where I could lose this game. Loose on my part a bit. The pink frame is great. Listen, I am an artist and a performer. We don't half do things around here, chat. This is very serious business. Alright, Liliana's down, that's fine. Alright, removal spell should lock this game up. I think we're pretty close to locked even before the removal spell. I'm just going to be ultra conservative here and just, like, make sure we don't die by mistake. We're pretty far ahead at this point, and I just, like, don't want them to, like, sneak in points of damage and kill me. I thought you didn't care much for people with anime avatars. God bless. Yeah, it was funny. So the beauty school I went to, they said that during the Christmas season, they have a couple of Santa Clauses that they regularly color the beards of. Like, they color them fully, they color their beards fully white. Yeah, beard here is thicker and it's more coarse on average. What other pop punk songs can I get you to sing? Yeah, the card frame is actually a spoiler. They're bringing another color to Magic the Gathering, and they let me spoil it here on stream. Pink and purple are both coming in the next set. That's the big War of the Spark announcement. Alright, I think we just keep smashing here, right? Like, they're basically under the abyss at this point. Yeah, it's very possible I should have shipped with this too. Whenever a new card like Biomancer comes out, people just like always pick back up the decks that they loved playing previously. Let's put another lethal threat into play here. In response to this adapt, we'll Fatal Push this, so that way they don't draw a card and discard a card, just in case they have things that get them out of this. Yes, yeah. Maybe my deck is good again, but the answer is usually no. Yeah, that game was a good example. That game had a lot of garbage time in it, as Patrick Sullivan would refer to it as. I love that's just my favorite term, garbage time. Just like, this game was over a long time ago, but we're still here playing Magic for some reason. Alright, so Last Hope doesn't kill enough in this matchup, I don't think. I know it does occasionally kill Master of Waves, but I don't think that means it's worth leaving in, especially with a bunch of Assassin's Trophies. I think Liliana the Veil is actually worth leaving in, because just like 3 mana, you sacrifice a creature, have to attack my Planeswalker is usually fine. Languish is obviously great. Dismember, Abrupt Decay. Collective Brutality is not a card that I'm super excited to have in my deck in this matchup, but just like 2 mana likely kill a creature is probably fine. This is basically what I would refer to as an all Doomblades on deck matchup. Just like you want as many ways as possible to kill their creatures. You'll notice I'm cutting Thoughtseize, but leaving in Inquisition. While there are a couple of cards in their deck like Master of Waves that Thoughtseize can take that Inquisition can't, the fact that Thoughtseize costs us health is a big deal. I think Frontier died when it did because it didn't have any official support in terms of large events. Frontier didn't really have people pushing for it, and without a ban list and being managed by Wizards of the Coast, a format's never going to succeed. Languish is there over Damnation not only because of spirits, but also because your Tarmogoyfs are often 4/5 creatures, and your Scavenging Oozes can have 5 toughness. And your lots of your stuff can be bigger than 4 in the butt. So Languish is like Plagued Wind a lot of the time. It kills their creatures and does not kill yours. Getting a Spell Pierce on Inquisition of Kozilek here is actually a pretty big win for us when we have Languish in our hand. Sure. Alright, well, Tarmogoyf's going to hang out in the hand for now. Why Damping Sphere over Fulminator Mage? Because Damping Sphere has relevant text turn 3 on the draw. Whereas Fulminator Mage, you're going to have turn 3 on the draw, and they're going to cast Karn Liberated and kill you. Damping Sphere also comes in more matchups. It comes in against decks like KCI and Storm and Ad Nauseam to have relevant text blocks. Don't be greedy. Take your 3-for-1s. That's my best advice, especially when you're playing against counterspell-based creature decks like this. Don't get greedy. Take your 3-for-1. I'm gonna go ahead and pass the turn here. We're just gonna have like the Ferris 6-mana Tasigur in the land here. Interesting that they spread. I guess that hurts my colors a little bit more, but this is the better blocker. Kind of. Madman with the $5 tip. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Welcome. Please attack me. That was the old animate. Realized that we had Treetop Village and pass. Got it. Huh. Alright, well now we're gonna do this and then play Tarmogoyf. Morning, Jeff. I made the jump and got started with MTGO for Modern, and you were right. Incredibly cheap to buy in right now. Love the hair. You are a true entertainer. Well, thanks for the tip. I'm glad you're enjoying Magic. So we get to go ahead and do this and go grab another black source. Make the Tarmogoyf a little bit bigger. Remember, when you have Tarmogoyf, you want to play your spells pre-combat, so that way if they have counter spells, your Tarmogoyf gets larger. It's possible I should wait a turn on this just because they do have Spell Pierce, but kind of want to jam. I guess I could have played this before. Interesting. They were holding Master of Waves. Okay. I could have played this before I Oh, that's really unfortunate. Woof. That is how that works. Yeah, they have Rest in Peace and a couple other white cards, probably. And Path to Exile, isn't that? Okay, that's cute. Taking my Liliana the Veil against my deck full of removal spells seems a little loose, rather than just attacking her. I think I want to hold on to... my fetch land here. Although I guess if I play the fetch land, I could start activating Tasigur. Yeah, that's probably what I do. So, you'll note when I delve here, I get to pick which cards I leave, which gives me a little bit of control over what cards I'm potentially getting back, which is nice. If they have another Merfolk Trickster, they might tempo me out of the game here. That's unfortunate. Although I suppose this does leave me in an okay spot. Oh, I guess I have Treetop Village here, right? You draw another Trickster. A removal spell. Wow, that's such a beating. I guess I'd rather have this happen now than next turn on my Tasigur again, right? So do I just activate this? If I hit anything other than Inquisition, I'm pretty happy. If I hit 2 lands, I get my Maelstrom Pulse back. Liliana the Veil, Dismember. Oh gosh, I didn't tap this. God bless America. I tapped my lands wrong. That's unfortunate. Ooh, fast and loose, fast and loose. So, Dead to a Lord. Having to fetch is a big deal there because now I can't block the Deputy of Detention in combat. So if they draw a brick here, you know, like maybe they'll draw a 6th land. We've drawn a lot of lands. We could be in an okay spot. Also, like, just activating Tasigur again next turn is going to put us in a reasonable position. I could have tapped this instead of a Swamp Stamina Dingo. So the mistake was tapping a Swamp instead of tapping this, because then I had to fetch a Swamp to play Liliana the Veil. So if I didn't have to fetch a Swamp there, I could have blocked this and gone to 1 and then had a Liliana Edict on deck. Alright, well, we're not dead on board, so we've got that going for us. So, I think I just pass at this point, because if I activate Tasigur and I hit an Inquisition of Kozilek, they give that back to me and then I'm dead on board. Whereas right now I have a Treetop Village to block with. And so this is also relevant. So I have 8 lands here, right? Oh, wait. Oh, that's great. This can be activated off of blue mana. I forgot. So we can activate Tasigur twice here. That's so good for us. Hey, Insert Wit. Thanks for the Prime support. There's a lot of great people. You can ship those Bezo bucks too. Thanks for shipping them this way this month. I forgot about that. Forgot this is a split mana thing. Assassin's Trophy. Alright, so Edict you, Trophy this, Edict you. We should be green light to clear them out from here. Hey, Harlequin, thank you for the 9-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. And again, just like a lot of other people are playing copies of Dark Confidant over Tasigur. Could you just like imagine if Tasigur had been Dark Confidant this game. Like, he wouldn't have gotten to play defense. He'd be hammering my health total. Like, I really feel like Dark Confidant's just like one of those cards that like people who have been playing this archetype for a decade like playing, so they just like never explore the possibility that could be right to cut it. God, this card is so annoying. I mean, they have to play this now, right? Otherwise, I'm just gonna like take it out of their hand. No, I've been playing Tasigur in this deck for a long time now. Long time. So I'm plussing Liliana here before I play Tasigur, so that way I can delve Tasigur. So you can use Tasigur to control which cards your opponent's able to give you back with his activation cost. So I'm going to go ahead and exile here the cards I would prefer to not be given back to my hand. Which I think is just everything that's not Assassin's Trophy or Fatal Push. I guess I could have activated this before I Liliana, but no, I really want to exile the other Taskers. They can't give me second Tasigur back. Alright, sweet. So I'm just going to go ahead and pass here. So they had to give me a removal spell back the way I dealt there. So their choices were Fatal Push, Abrupt Decay, or Assassin's Trophy. So they had to give me a removal spell. So now I'm not dead to them drawing a Lord off the top, which is great. Sure. And like they have to play this out because otherwise they're just gonna lose it to the Liliana the Veil next turn. So even though they just gave me Assassin's Trophy, like probably super regretting not giving me Abrupt Decay. Thanks. I think the hair turned out well myself. Alright, so that likely locks the game up. I guess that's not true. They could draw a Lord this turn and still be in it. But outside of drawing, they have like a 1-turn window to draw a Lord here. Am I dead? The suspenseful redraws are the worst. Hey, what's going on, Rowan? Thanks for the 7 months. Welcome back. I appreciate it. Thanks for keeping me around. Alright, well they didn't just windmill slam a Lord, so I assume they're dead here. Because next turn they're gonna have to block a bunch of stuff, right? They have to block 2 creatures next turn. Even a land's a good draw here, because it means a land puts Tireless Tracker up to a 4th point of power, which means they have to block 3 of my creatures. Do they hit Merfolk Trickster? Do they hit the 4th Trickster? If they hit the 4th Trickster, they can diddle the Tarmogoyf. Okay, they hit the 4th Trickster. So they still have to block... They still have to block a bunch of my stuff, though, right? They have to block 2 of my 3 things here. Which then means a Lord off the top is no longer lethal. Thanks, Quarth. We fully commit to things around here. Yeah, Tarmogoyf Trickster Bug's been fixed for a hot second. So even if they draw a Lord, the Scavenging Ooze gets me to 4 here, so they should be dead. Why are we playing Garbage Time, opponent? Stop it. All right. 4-0, 2-0, 4-0 to start the day. What's the next time you think you'll play a Vein of Fear deck again? You can always check the deck queue to know what decks we're playing upcoming in One Fry. Pretty much all of the Magic that we play on this stream is viewer powered, so if it ain't in the queue, it really doesn't get played. How much do I miss Arena when I play Magic Online? I definitely always miss the speed of Arena when I play Magic Online, but I like playing good Modern decks on occasion. Like, this is a Modern deck that I genuinely like playing. So, and it is one of the things that makes Magic such a strong game that's made it last for 25 years, just the variety of game modes, right? Eventually, Arena will have a variety of game modes, but right now it definitely doesn't. Like, if you're a constructed player, it's just standard and occasionally the rotating things that they put in. So, for those not familiar with Modern too much, Temple of Deceit plus Sleight of Hand, this implies that my opponent is playing the archetype Ad Nauseam, which is a spell-based combo deck. Do I like some number of Grafdigger's Cage for the Dredge matchup? Yeah, if you really wanted to beat Dredge, you could play Grafdigger's Cage. I think this deck's got an okay Dredge matchup as is with Scavenging Ooze and a couple Surgicals, so unless I knew I was showing up to an FNM where a bunch of people play Dredge, I don't think I would board extra for it. Did we unpink the beard? No, the lighting in here just isn't very good, and the beard's a purplish color. A more purple pink, because my beard's a darker color overall. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to do this, and then play the other Tarmogoyf out. And then next turn, I can Collective Brutality, discard Fatal Push to drain, and then start pressuring with these Tarmogoyfs. Well, that's bold. Wow, never mind. Or it was the top card of their deck. Well, hopefully we find an Assassin's Trophy here to take this Phyrexian Unlife away. Land is actually a card type that I don't have in the graveyard yet, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and drain them and look at their hand and take an instant or sorcery away. Hopefully we don't see double Ad Nauseam here. They have 5th land double Ad Nauseam, so we're dead. Welcome to Modern. Enjoy your stay. So, for people not familiar with the opponent's deck, Phyrexian Unlife plus Ad Nauseam lets them draw their entire deck. And then they have a combo that lets them kill us after drawing their entire deck. So it is not pleasant. Liliana's pretty bad here. Fatal Push is pretty bad here. I think I'm in for Nissa Vital Force, just a 5/5 with haste. Scavenging Ooze isn't particularly good here. I like bringing in Surgical Extraction in this matchup just because we have so many discard spells that if we Surgical their Ad Nauseam after we discard spell it, it's very reasonable for us. Brutality is my favorite shock variant. It is quite good. Alright, so I have 63 cards in my deck right now. Maybe I don't want both Nissa. Trimming a land crazy? Trimming a land's probably not crazy. Field of Ruin doesn't really have text in this matchup. Let's do this. What are we counting sub points for? I made the promise that I would maintain and upkeep my hair if we stayed above 4,000 sub points. I don't expect that to happen. I expect a bunch of the sub gifts will drop off next month, but I left them up there for that. So they have Leyline of Sanctity, so this is one of the things that, again, the best, most efficient interaction in Modern is discard spells. And then there's this card, Leyline of Sanctity, which if they start with it in their opening hand, they get to put it into play for free, and it gives them hexproof, so my discard spells can't target them. So basically, like, we play this game where I mulligan looking for discard spells, they mulligan looking for Leyline, and if they find Leyline, I very likely just won't be able to do anything and I'll lose the game. So these are kind of the more frustrating games in Magic, where, like, you basically just don't get to do anything, right? And there's a lot of games like this in Modern. So when people ask what the big differences are between Modern versus formats like Standard, in Standard, so right now Nexus of Fate in Standard is actually a great example. So if you dislike playing against Nexus of Fate in Standard, there are a ton of matches in Modern where basically you're playing against Nexus of Fate. You're playing against a deck where you just don't have meaningful interaction against them. We got very fortunate and drew an Assassin's Trophy to interact with their thing. They chose not to search a basic. Interesting. Wonder if they either don't have one or they just want to keep their Serum Visions on top of their deck. Alright, so my Inquisition only takes cards that cost 3 or less, and Ad Nauseam costs 5, so I can't take that. That being said, I do have this Collective Brutality for next turn to take their Ad Nauseam, so that's nice. Thanks, CCN. Yeah. Yeah, if we're still above 4K sub points in 4 weeks or so, when it starts to fade a little bit, I plan to re-up it, maybe with a different neon color. All right, so they have their Phyrexian on life here, so I'm hoping to draw an Abrupt Decay or a Maelstrom Pulse or another way to interact with that. Did I trim my Pulse? Trimming my Pulse was probably bad. Probably want max ways to interact with these things. Yeah, they're a Leyline deck too. Trimming the Pulse was super wrong. So if they draw another copy of Ad Nauseam here, I believe I'm dead. Maybe the Damping Sphere stops them for 1 turn. Yeah, I'm dead, right? They can just pitch a bunch of things. For each new sub, or renewals count also? So renewals count towards that. So if you're currently subbed, you're a point in that quantity of sub points. So the sub points are the current number of active subscribers, with higher tier subs throwing them in there. Red to purple to pink is the best option. Sounds good, Jackal Girl. And again, just like, that's just like games like that. Like, that was a lot like playing against Nexus of Fate, right? And like, based on the number of people who complain about the types of games that Nexus of Fate generate, it would lead me to believe that a lot of people who play Standard won't enjoy a lot of the different matches that play out in Modern. So for those that are hanging out, we're finishing this Magic Online League with this Black-Green Rock deck, and then we're going to move on to playing Standard on Magic Arena for the rest of the day. Planning to do a full stream day today, about 8 to 10 hours. I think I'd probably keep a trophy in the dark. I don't know what we're playing against here. I think trophy is good enough against the field to keep on top most of the time. Memekin or Gates. I think both those decks are fine. I think if you play Memekin, you should definitely... It's a mirror match. Yikes. This mirror match sucks. You should definitely just play whichever one you enjoy. They're both fine. Have you ever streamed Pauper in MTGA? No. The formats that rotate in Magic Arena, like Pauper, don't have a lot of replayability as far as like YouTube content goes. They tend to be less popular than just playing Standard in my experience playing streaming a lot of Magic. I also like formats that like rotate and leave us back and forth. Like, they aren't formats that I enjoy playing in Magic, just because I generally prefer to be able to like work on and tune decks, and formats that like are leaving soon don't allow me to do that. So I left them the Assassin Trophy here as opposed to the Fatal Push, just because I'd rather them give me a land when they kill my thing. Which may or may not be right. Fatal Push can't kill like a Liliana the Veil if I have that. Modern is faster, however, there are a much wider range of tools available, and depending on the style of gameplay you enjoy, I think Standard would be a lot better fit. See, I completely disagree with you, Vervente. I think one of the things that makes Modern really miserable, in addition to there being linear interactive decks, is cards like Inquisition and Thoughtseize are fundamentally bad game design. In my opinion, good game design encourages both players to be able to make decisions with the cards that they're playing, and discard spells explicitly remove players' abilities to make decisions in the match of Magic that they are playing. So, discard spells take decisions away from one player. Counter spells are a great example of good interactive game design, in my opinion, because counter spells allow both players to ask questions and make sequencing decisions. So a counter spell, the person with the counter spell has to choose to pass to leave up mana with their counter spell, and then the opposing player gets to ask themselves the question, do they have a counter spell? Do I want to play into the counter spell that they obviously left mana up for? So I agree that discard spells are powerful in Modern, but I think they're obnoxious, and I think they create bad gameplay, and the only reason we think discard spells are remotely okay in Modern is because the decks that you are beating with discard spells in Modern are more obnoxious than the discard spells. So, discard spells aren't actually okay. They don't create good gameplay patterns. They're just less offensive than Dredge. They're less offensive than Ad Nauseam. So, people are okay with the discard spells because the things that they're preventing are worse than they are. They're a necessary evil. Really weird that my opponent didn't proactively eat the last creature with their Scavenging Ooze. But they're definitely the most interesting decisions I make as the one casting them. Sure, they let one player make a decision while stripping decisions away from the other player. I think they're terrible game design. And even Thought Erasure exhibits the bad game design that I'm talking about right now as well, but it does so in a way that's more expensive, and it's more restrictive in the decks that you can put it into, so it doesn't just get slotted into every deck in the format, right? Like, look at the interactive decks that tend to be good in Modern. Discard spells, they're the force of will of the format, right? They're this crutch that makes these decks playable rather than manage the obnoxious things in the format with the ban list. You know, I'm actually just gonna not play this match. I'm gonna move on to the next one. I really don't enjoy, and this is another thing that makes these fair interactive mirror matches, because they're based around discard spells and just mono top deck bombs. They don't generate what I would consider to be good games of Magic. They don't generate games of Magic that I enjoy playing. So I'm just gonna adhere to my rule. I don't enjoy playing a game. I'm just gonna move on. Whereas, like, counterspell-based mirrors tend to be very interesting because you get to pick and choose where things happen. See, I think discard spells like Freebooter and Tide Hollow are excellent ways to template discard spells because those are interaction that leave your opponent with more decisions to make. I would classify things as good game design that encourage both players to make decisions while they play. So things like Kitesail Freebooter and Tide Hollow Sculler, these are discard spells that have counterplay to them, and by introducing counterplay to these cards, you are making decisions for both players. A great example of a one-mana discard spell that I think is excellent design is Blackmail. I would love if Blackmail was the only, take anything one-mana discard spell that existed in the new non-rotating format. Like, that's a sweet card that I wouldn't mind seeing reprinted in Standard. Fetch, Shock, Thoughtseize, see a hand with 5 lightning bolts. Yikes. So, I think this matchup's actually okay for us overall, but this game's probably going to be a little rough. Blackmail is excellent design because it's a card that does what I just explained I think good game design does. It makes both players make decisions about the game that they're playing. It makes your opponent choose what they're giving you to take, and then you as the player casting it get to choose what you're taking. That being said, turn 2, 4/5 Tarmogoyf, like if we curve Goyf Tracker Tasigur here, we might have a shot. We'll see. We actually kind of want them to, I guess playing the Tracker is bad in the face of Searing Blaze, though. Yeah, I think Liliana is a great example of a card that's fine game design. This is a card that makes, again, what you have to ask yourself is this card asking both players to make decisions about the game that they're playing? And if the answer is yes, then I think it's good game design. If the answer is no, then I would be like, wow, okay, so they didn't draw a land for the turn. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and Field of Rune them here so I can get another black source. And then I'm gonna go ahead and cast this Inquisition. This also cuts them off of white mana, which is nice. Lava Spike, Skullcrack. So I'm not going to have any way to gain life anytime soon. So I'm going to go ahead and take their Lava Spike away. Skullcrack's less mana efficient for them. If they hit a medium series of draws here, we could maybe be okay. I actually have them dead in 2 here, right? So if they just draw white spells, we could have them dead. Or 2 mana spells. So I'm going to go ahead and attack for 5 again here, and then play out this 4/5 Tasigur. Lightning Bolt is bad design because it always goes upstairs. No. Lightning Bolt, let me rephrase again. Good game design doesn't explicitly strip choices away from the opponent. So, obviously not every card can allow both players to make decisions, but you can explicitly design cards that don't take extra decisions away from the opponent. To articulate myself fully. No, even if you were making a joke, I think other people are going to try and make that comparison. Hey, J-Robes, thanks for the 13-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So we're dead to a variety of things here. Hopefully they don't have any of those things. Dead to Lightning Bolt, dead to another Lava Spike. And this is, if you've never played against Modern Burn, they always have it. So we're dead. That was a pretty good game. That was a pretty close game considering that we Fetch Shock Thoughtseize on turn 1 so we didn't know what we were playing against. Duress seems fine here. Collective Brutality is great. Abrupt Decay is great. Liliana the Last Hope is slow. Thoughtseize is not great. You leave in cards like Maelstrom Pulse in this matchup, even though they're a little bit slow as far as removal spells go, because the opponent often boards an Ensnaring Bridge. Yeah, Vanifear is a lot of fun in Standard. You can find my preferred Vanifear deck on my website, jeffoakland.com. Click Standard Decks. Lots of great decks on my website. Easy mulligan here. No discard, no threats. This hand's very reasonable. It curves Collective Brutality into other stuff. Looking for some lands with this scry. Tarmogoyf. Willing to keep a Tarmogoyf here. What is a blackmail style? What does that even mean, King Fede? What does that mean? Oi, Punk's not dead. Thank you for the biddies. Good morning. Alright, so they suspended Riftbolt, which means if I play Tarmogoyf out here, it'll die to the Riftbolt. I think I just 2-mode this. And I think I ditched the Tireless Tracker. Just grab Boros Charm here. Goyf's a casual 4/5. Blood Moon effect on 3 lands only. Yeah, that's less obnoxious, but it's but it's also, like, really annoying to track. I guess you could put counters on something. Really wanted to draw a land there so I could play Liliana the Veil. So now the question becomes, if they attack next turn, do I, like, block and trade my Tarmogoyf for their Swift Spear plus a Lightning Helix? Probably. They're just not offering that trade. Good. I don't think I wanted to take it. Perfect. So let's do this, and then we'll Fatal Push this, and we'll start attacking. Interesting that they elected to Helix instead of Boros Charm. They valued getting their health total higher. I guess that makes sense because it adds a turn to this clock. You know, I'm actually going to go ahead and take the card out of their hands here, I think, and then plan to Edict them next turn. Because this way, if they draw land, they don't get to have a live one. I don't know, maybe I'm just supposed to Edict them and attack for 4. Or, like, guaranteed getting a spell out of their hand sounds good, even if I'm giving up a combat step to do it. I guess the downside here is that... Oh, you know what? They're actually still dead next turn, which is sweet. So I hit them for 4 down to 10 here. And then because I drew this with their Tarmogoyf, next turn I can -2 my Liliana to kill her. And then that'll kick my Tarmogoyfs up to 5/6s, which is great. And even if they, like, have a blocker, I'll be able to Edict it away for the Liliana. So they are dead on board. Alright, on to the last game. This is the tough game, the game where we're on the draw. Gonna have to mulligan pretty aggressively here. Probably need a Collective Brutality or a Fatal Push in the opener to not get run over. Tarmogoyf, definitely one of our better cards in this matchup, just like a giant body that blocks and closes. This is another matchup where Tasigur is light years better than Dark Confidant. Thanks for the 10 months, Azumail. Welcome back. I think this is a mulligan. I think the double tap land in that 7 pushes it. To be too bad. If you've never seen us play this deck before without Dark Confidant, I'd encourage you to go watch the videos on my website. We've been playing this deck for basically forever without Dark Confidant. I think Dark Confidant's a trap that people have been playing for too long and just continue to play it because it's what their father and their father's father did before them, so it's good enough for them as well. Oh, I knew about all of those, didn't I? Yeah, loose. I like the no attack here, just not give us the trigger. Second Goyf is great. We were pretty close to a lock. I think Scavenging Ooze probably ties the noose. My first Legacy Open top 8 had Dark Confidant and Tombstalker in the deck together. Alright, well, Sand's a Deflecting Palm. We should be home free here. I guess they could rip in Staring Bridge. If they rip in Staring Bridge, we're going to need to draw an answer. Black-green rack. This is one of my preferred fair decks in Modern. It's either this or Grixis Shadow are my two real preferences. The mirror match sucks though. If you were expecting to go into a place and play a lot of other green-black or Jund decks, I think the mirror match is truly miserable, and that would be a reason that I wouldn't play this deck. The mirror match very much comes down to just like mono top decks, and there aren't a lot of really meaningful decisions in it. So we lost. I conceded a mirror because it's miserable and I didn't want to play it. And we lost to running top decks against Ad Nauseam. So I think the Ad Nauseam matchup's actually pretty okay for this archetype, but sometimes they just like rip their 1-2 combo and you die. Why don't you play the new game design? What does that mean? What does new game design mean? Are you referring to Arena? We're actually changing to playing Arena right now. We're gonna do that next for the remainder of the day. One is just gonna play some Vintage, right next to Never. For those wondering, I usually start my streams every morning with one Magic Online League. Magic Online isn't just old Magic. So that format that we were playing called Modern uses cards from the last like 16 years of Magic set. So it has a bunch of cards in it that are not legal on Magic Arena. That was Danny Trejo. Alright, we are kicking off the arena segment with an Esper Reanimator Brew. I don't think anything is well positioned in Modern. I think if you're playing a deck in Modern because you think it's well positioned, you probably don't understand how varied and lots of nonsense that goes on in Modern. Modern's a format where regardless of what decks are good in the format, you're going to see people playing whatever they play, because changing Modern decks is incredibly expensive. It costs lots of money. So even when a deck stops being good, people don't stop playing that deck. They just play it even though it's no longer good. We have 3 copies of Final Parting as a way to fetch our creatures up that we're reanimating.